if you are a business owner, especially a solopreneur, entrepreneur, just getting off the ground, trying to build something that means something to you, that's going to impact the world, consider me your personal publicist. And I truly mean that. I want it to feel like you can ask me anything about PR. I want you to feel like I can really guide you through this process. One, because I can. And two, because what you're doing, if you're a purpose-driven business owner who is just trying to make it, you're just trying to get the visibility while building the social brand, while building the product, while getting the market, while pricing accordingly, while finding your audience, while whatever else that building a business entails, right? It's all of those things at the same time, and you're doing it yourself. I'm offering myself to you as a resource. So please hear that and know that this brand was built specifically for you. Heirloom PR, Publicity Decoded. Publicity Decoded is my newsletter, it's my Substack, it's my YouTube, and really it's breaking down all the tools that you need, most of them for free, to build your brand with Earned Media and stop paying exorbitant amounts on paid marketing. Because the truth is, you don't need that. It's a nice bonus once you're established, right? But without Earned Media, I'm going to tell you right now, people aren't going to trust you. And I have another video on the value between earned and paid and the different things that they do for you and what that looks like. So check that video out. But I really just want to talk to you today about how accessible PR is and why you were never told that, and ultimately why I'm telling you today. So let's start with the first one. PR, when you hear it, just take a mental inventory of what you think of when someone says, I'm in PR. I have a PR firm. Oh, I'll send that to my PR agency. What are the connotations that are coming to your mind right now? I'm going to list a few that I think may have popped into your head. Elite, inaccessible, expensive, la-di-da, that's a term I use, but you get what it means. Exclusive. If any of those or parallels to any of those are ringing a bell, you're not wrong. I think that is what it was designed to feel like. And there are people who fit those categories who have valued PR for years and years and years, right? Because there is a perception management element to PR services, and when you are in the spotlight, that is required. It's not an option. It is a necessity by all accounts. So I get why that kind of stereotype has been built over the years, right? Because only people with money were able to access it. And generally, only people with money really needed it, especially, I thought there was a bird really close to me, especially for crisis management and public perception. So in my background, I worked a lot in government and policy and politics, and so those people do need perception management, right? Because you're working for the vote, and ideally you're working for the vote, and you're working for your constituents, and you have to deliver for them. And you're faced with some really hard decisions in those positions where sometimes you have to compromise, and how are you going to communicate that, right? And that's where a PR person comes in, and that's essential to those roles. But what no one has told you is that there are elements to publicity, to public relations, that are so accessible and necessary for the solopreneur, for the entrepreneur, for the new business owner, and for the existing business owner who's never heard of Earned Media, which is that is the portion of PR that I'm really passionate about. And Earned Media has I don't think people know what it is, right? And maybe drop in the comments if you've heard of Earned Media before. Just let me know if you know what it is. And I think it is like one of the most accessible tools in the PR toolkit and in the marketing toolkit, right? Because marketing has become this huge umbrella that has all these microservices underneath it, and somewhere along the way people got into their heads that the only way to market was to pay for marketing. And that's not true. There is this thing called Earned Media that it doesn't require no work. Like, it's free, but it requires work ethic and consistency and persistence and patience. But when you have all three of those and you put efforts behind your Earned Media strategy, you will see trust built between you and your audience like you never have before if your focus has always been on paid marketing. And it is so accessible to you. So accessible to you. All you need is the internet and, honestly, a pen and paper. I have said you can track media lists on an Excel or something, but really you could just write it down. So you just need the internet and a pen and paper, and that is really all you need to start getting to work with Earned Media. So take that, think about it, ask me questions. I just want you to know that your business's growth is not dependent on paying these massive platforms to push out your content to people. Okay, and here's why. I'll go into this a little deeper. Earned Media is the process of, it's exactly what it is. It's earning media, not paying for it. So what does that look like? Earning media involves getting your story together, right? What's your angle? What story do you have to tell? I have a couple other videos on that. What is your story? What's your unique take on whatever it is that you do, that you can bring to market and tell people about? If you've been doing social media, you probably already have a couple of those. Some people call them content pillars. PR is a little bit more like hook, what would be the headline, right? If an article was published about you, what's the headline? That is finding your PR pitch. And when you can do that, you Google on the internet, you find people writing about similar things that you would like to talk about, you capture all their emails, you can write them down on a paper, you can put them in an Excel sheet, and then you pitch those people, here's the story I want to tell. Here's the headline you can use, here's all access to me, I want you to interview me and ask me about these things, and here's what I can give to your audience. And then you have an interview, either on a podcast, in a newspaper, maybe you do an op-ed and there's no interview, it's just you writing something that's of value to the audience that you're reaching. Maybe you go on a local TV show, local TV segment. Then, when your audience sees you on those things, you are building trust with your audience because they're seeing that other people saw you and what you have to say being valued by a third party that you did not pay for. Now, I've said this in other videos too. There are some pay-to-play platforms, for sure. But you don't need that, right? You can get coverage without that. And one thing I want to say also on the feeling like you need to have some sort of status to be able to access PR, that's not true. Think about all the entrepreneurs and solopreneurs that have ever come to me, that you've ever seen, right? They are self-proclaimed whatever they are. Now, if you own a business, you own a business, right? If you wrote a book, you're an author. But think about, like, speakers are really good version of this, because you pick a topic you're passionate about, you book free gigs, maybe you work your way into paid gigs and you can start negotiating getting paid for your speaking time. But you are going out and doing something that allows you to characterize yourself as speaker or as expert on blank. And that gives you an entryway into earned media. So let me put this to, really any entrepreneur who has a business can say you're an expert in whatever. And there are tons of free tools available that you can use online to get your story in front of somebody, or to offer yourself as an expert to provide a quote on something. There are 2 of them that I can think of, Quoted and Hero. I have another video that talks about them. And when you just take advantage of all the free tools that you have, see what happens. Like, go all in to earn media for 30 days and see what you can accomplish. And by all in, I mean like coming up with your media list and sending your pitches out, following up, sending new pitches, following up, sending new pitches. Like every single day you should be reaching out to new people, or tweaking your angle, or I don't know, finding free things to do that validate your expertise by somebody else, not just you, right? Because that's owned media. If you're on social media talking about how great you are, anybody can do that, right? But the people who are getting coverage have these other people telling their audience how great they are. And that's just, again, that's building trust that no owned media, no paid media can do alone, almost ever. So there are so many free tools that you can really take advantage of. And I want you to know, as a solopreneur, as a business owner, you are not trapped into using the paid media hoopla that has been thrown at you as the right thing to do. You are not stuck in that. There is a way out, and I'm going to show you. It is earned media, and here's why. You are the owner of your story, and when you can learn to frame that story, get it in front of third-party audiences, and have them tell your target audience how amazing you are without saying anything yourself, done. Trust is built. And then you take that and you blast it out and tell everybody, look at what these other people are saying about me. It's the same thing as reviews, right? Reviews are, unless you're paying marketing fees and you have lead costs and yada, if you just work and have reviews, you're providing service, you get a review. No paid things in between. You are essentially doing the same thing that earned media does, right? It's same thing. Free third-party person saying, this was my experience with them and it was phenomenal. And I would totally recommend, right? They are talking about why you're so amazing for you. And it removes you having to be the person who's pushing out your own sales pitch. So think about that. Process that. I'll see you in the next one.